record. All right, and this is Dragon League game number 3. We are reviewing the game between Semen-Yun-Won and Kite Haseo. Let's see what happened in this game. Let me hit the review button. All right. Pretty standard. I actually love this Joseki. This is one of my favorite Josekis, and I don't get to play it enough. Whenever my opponent approaches like this, I've been trying to pincer, so I don't get to play this Joseki as white or black enough. Um, and I do like it a lot. Very, very far jump. Um, I'm not familiar with any of the Joseki that take place with K16, so I can't really give any advice on that. Um, However, what I can say is I do think the corner is bigger in this case, so I would almost not want to pincer, right? I would almost not want to pincer. I think it's just better to come back and take the corner. I think the corner is bigger. So I would say that a pincer in general is probably the wrong direction. But in general, I don't play K16. I've never done that far of a pincer, so I don't actually know if that is uh, an okay shape or an okay move. But it's probably, I would imagine it's probably fine. One of the reasons I would be scared to play K16 is because you have to remember that black is already alive in the corner in just this raw position, right? We have a very raw position here. And what I mean is, like, let's say black plays somewhere else. Let's say black plays somewhere else. They just randomly throw a stone at T19 for whatever reason. We can't go back and kill this group. It's not possible. It's just alive. Of course, normally you see that black plays here normally in the Joseki. And you should always, almost always play C14 in the Joseki. However, it is not required to live. So in this case, I am often afraid that black can extend here. And if we connect here and we go back to this, now white kind of has, black has a lot of Aji there. As to where before it wasn't. With the closer pincer, right? When we do something like this and black jumps into the corner. And if we try to do something like this, we can actually now go back and turn here. Because if black cuts, white can always go back under. Or if white turns, white can go back here. And so when we play this higher pincer, I'm definitely worried about what black can do here. Because I would almost not want to allow white to just simply play like this. This feels too good for white to allow to play, so I would want to extend here. Force white to connect and then come back. Or force them to extend and extend. And if they keep extending, they're getting points on the first line, but they can't really kill this group here. And so we're going to be getting strength as black. So black takes in enclosure. I think that's fine. I'm more of an aggressive player. I like playing closer. I like jumping as close as possible, but I think enclosure is probably fine. White chooses to lean. I think that's okay. I like this move. I like not responding to this right now. I think it's good that black is approaching here first. White Tanukis. I'm always afraid when black approaches, and it always makes me feel like I want to add a move, but I always think that I do think that I realize often it's best not to add a move here, because it's really hard for black to really do anything in here, and what can end up happening is that black isn't really getting a ton of value out of this, and white is going to live regardless. So I do think that extending on the bottom is acceptable and good. Just let black get the little bit of value that they're going to get here if they try to attack it. Though the more common shape to hit this side of the board, I think now a daze is to just play this one. Uh, but it's kind of just a similar shape, right? Just like this. But I do remember when this was really common, and then sometimes white would push here, and it would be like this. And this was really common back then. I don't really see it much now, but I think that was how it was back then, right? I just talked about this in my last review. Um, there's only there's very few times where you actually play this. There are very few exceptions where you play this. You're desperate, you're losing really hard, and you need to. Well, I mean, that's also in a form of desperateness. Um, and then the other is you have completely surrounded your opponent. Otherwise, we don't like playing this move. We don't want to have to play this. It's better to jump out here and save this for Aji later. Um, I don't like. I never like when my opponent plays this move, and I rarely ever see it at a 7 dan to 9 dan level. It's just very desperate, especially if this is the shape we're going to be making. We're really low. I wouldn't want to give black kind of this overage move. I would almost want to jump out first. And then if black was really willing to leave this behind, like say now we really, really, really want this move for whatever reason, like we really are desperate and we really want it, then maybe there's an argument to be made. We can come back to it. But I don't like the idea of taking Gote here to save these 2 stones. It's just not good. Black is trying to pressure these white stones. I think this is good. Oh, black even played the way that I showed, which I think is good. Lean, so white is trying to capture these or trade basically. Yeah, so I think this is very good for. I think this is very good for black in my opinion. Um, it kind of felt like we were really low to the board and desperate to make life. And so that's kind of what we were doing is we were low to the board and we're really desperate to make life. But here's the thing, another problem that I don't like with this position in general is it feels like we're trying to attack something, which is this corner, when we can't really attack it. I think as white, we have to realize that we can't attack something that is strong with a group that isn't strong. Um, this is very greedy for white. I would be very afraid of the life and death here, or giving up too much on the outside to make it live, um, or to give up too much on the outside to allow black to be strong, basically. Um, and so I almost wouldn't want to play that because we can also imagine that black can play this move here and um, gain some strength here by playing this way. This kind of gives us extra room. Now, I wouldn't play this right away, but that's something that we can look into later as black. The only reason I would want to play it now is because it's directly involved with the group we're trying to live with, which makes it for sure Sente, right? Because in a nutshell, maybe there's a world where later we play it, and this is no longer Sente, right? Um, but yeah, we can kind of see that our group is suffering now, and it's not even alive anymore. Black is playing good. Um, I would be careful as black because we kind of are we limited our liberties here. We're trying to limit our liberties here. We want to definitely be careful about this. Timing is going to be huge. Timing is going to be huge. Um. Oh, okay, okay. We definitely don't want to play here. So this can lead to a very bad situation. Actually, it was probably fine, but it definitely would get us cut off here. We wouldn't be able to connect up to these 2 stones. And there's no reason to play that way, so this is fine. We can't play this Hane. We can't play this Hane. Even if black lets you play this Hane, you can't play this Hane. Black should be extending here. If white plays here, there's not really a lot that white can do to this. We just capture the stone. White can try to play a Liberty Race, right? But it's really hard because if we play here, then we've got to run out with this group, and this is obviously too good for black. So white has to actually play this way, and we can just create ice space. And it's going to be all about these groups here. I think the game is very hard for white at this point. Jump. But this is also fine if you're trying to increase your liberties. I'm going to say it's not fine, only because I don't think it's the best. I think that if white plays here, it's a better way to seal us. As to where if we play here, I think it's better. Because if we play here versus here, and let's say white tries to seal us this way, we can do things like this. Actually, I don't know how much this matters. Maybe it doesn't mean too much. Because either way, it looks like we're going to have a hard time building liberties. Like, we can obviously build liberties this way, but I guess if we're trying to just look for the win in the liberty race here, this is probably fine. Do we have a better way to play this? Can we respond to this? I do, however, think we should extend our liberty here, for sure. I think either way, taking the group is probably the best. It's very big for black. But can we respond? Can we afford to respond to it? We can't afford to respond to it, huh? So if we had play here first, does that change anything? It does. Because white can't play here, right? White can't play here, right? Because if we play here and they extend, we would get to play this. And then if they try to play this way, they don't win the Liberty Race. So they almost have to defend this here. So I think that extending here is pretty good. I do think now, however, maybe white can play here, and that makes it a little bit more complicated. Yeah, so black does have to connect here. Yeah, this is a very complicated position. So maybe black made the right choice. And so we're going to go ahead and live in the corner. Very rough shape for black, though. I would be careful as black. You know, look, we got a lead. We got a lead. This is a pretty big side of the board. It is pretty large. So maybe we want to be a little bit careful, because if we lose too much here, then we lose the game, right? And so you kind of get this very stringy group as black, and we don't really know where to go from here as black, right? Because we're saving the corner, and so white can kind of just surround this, and now the game might not be completely in our favor anymore, right? And so white actually emphasizes that and says, I am so strong here and so strong here that I don't think you can live. I think white should be careful, though, because we can do things like this and threaten to live or cut off these two stones. And I think that is complicated. As in, if we go here, it's not clearly going to be completely and utterly dead for black, right? Like, we still have a chance of living here. So white might even have to play something like this, and we don't really want to have to play that way because these two stones are going to get split off, and that's too good for black. Oh wow, very aggressive. Oh, 17, what are you doing? We can still utilize our strengths here, right? Like I said, we could come back here. So let's try to live with this group here. Let's not try to reduce too much. The losing our corner here is very bad. Very bad to lose our corner here. I learned painfully from the AI. Oh, this is very complicated. And 2 gives white more chances later. Yeah. This is very good for you though. What happened here? Let's see. Okay. Okay, so let me go over this again. So what did white do wrong? So he cut immediately. I would I'll be honest, I would almost be tempted to just take this corner. Even though I do want to play this. Can we do anything else here? I don't think we can, unfortunately. Saving this is so greedy, I think. Like, white had gotten so much value out of the corner already. And now they kind of throw away a lot of that value. So in the end, they ended up just giving you your corner back. But like, let's go back and look at this position here. So let's go back. So when you think about it, the position was like this, right? Black was getting this corner. White was claiming that this was dead and all of theirs. And we end up in this position later here where it's no longer just that corner. It's now this corner, right? Like this is very large for black. Um, I thought white was on the right track to really coming back in the game, but that really threw it away. I think white should have aimed to be simpler, more basic. We could even argue that white should just play here, right? Um, and the reason that we can be so thick as white is because the best that black can get is this. The best that black can get is this. So if we're playing to get the whole side of the board as white, why would we want to like risk the chance that black can do anything on the bottom with us having this R2 instead of just R3? So it's very, very strange. Very, very strange. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and speed up through this. And yeah, and it looks like white resigns here. So for black, I really liked the way that black played this game, but I feel like at one point we probably threw away too many liberties. I feel like this could have been fought better. I feel like this could have been fought better, but I know that that's really, really broad, um, and easier said than done. But I do feel like something went wrong here, and this should have just been flat out better for black. I actually am going to go back here and say that now that I think about it, what if white plays here first? And now we can't connect that up. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure. This is a very complicated position. I feel like white almost made a comeback through here, but then they were just a little too greedy with this R2 move. I think R2 was too greedy. If they play this, I actually think the game might be not bad for white at all. In fact, I'd imagine white is actually ahead here, right? Um, yeah, yeah. It looks like white's actually ahead, and it's not even counting these as dead. So white threw it here, and then I would say black probably threw it. Um, by playing whatever happened over here. I think black should be a little bit more careful. Um, Here's the thing. I think that white should not connect here. Or black should not connect here. I think black should actually play something like this. There is no real good way for white to kill this corner, and we're always going to have room to come out here and to fight this way. But I don't know if this would be the proper way. But yeah, unfortunate for white, but also unfortunate for black because black had gotten a nice group and then threw it, and then white had gotten a nice group and then threw it. But good game.